AD4 Communications Limited, owners and operators of AD4 TV Radio, in collaboration with MacArthur Foundation and Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, recently organized a 3-day capacity building training for journalists in Abuja, Nigeria. The theme for the training: investigative journalism and its impact on the society, heard at its resource persons, media practitioners, and experts from the academia, who spoke largely on the practice of investigative journalism and how it can be used to promote accountability and transparency for the common good of all in the society. While declaring the workshop open, the chairman, AD4 Communications Limited, stated that investigative journalism is a complex but interesting field that requires strategic thinking and analysis, as well as reporting that can be used for the benefit of the society, as it focuses on investigative activities in society for the purpose of accountability and transparency.
The idea is for us who are going to the field of investigative or being introduced to the field of investigative journalism to internalize whatever we learned in the 2 days of the training, while those who have already been involved in it would improve on the skills they have.
He therefore urged the participants to take the training with all the seriousness it deserves and make contributions during interactive sections.
Now we're talking about institutions, right? The religious institution, the education institution, and then the media institution. The media as an institution is doing good and bad. A lot of us today take up our bearing from what we see. Know that those codes that guide you were fashioned and crafted by people, and they were crafted within the context of an ideology, within the context of interests, and within the context of an end that was meant to service only the interest of the person crafting it. I hope you understand what I'm saying. These codes are critical to the understanding of not just journalism, but investigative journalism as a genre of journalism.
To be an investigative reporter, investigative journalist, investigative editor, you must first of all have the attributes of a good reporter. And what are the attributes of a good reporter? You must be well informed. You must have nose for news. Curiosity, alertness, and impartiality. You must be good in intelligence, and you must be courageous. Once you don't have courage as a journalist, don't even try to be a reporter, not to talk of being an investigative journalist. Of course, language expertise. Sometimes we run into trouble because we don't know how to present it. You must be able to handle media equipment. We all agree now, we all have this. Our equipment are increasing on daily basis. This is multi-purpose. You can do many things with it.
Social injustice. This one is very, very, very crucial because most of the times our attention are in government circles, corruption. But what about injustice, human rights abuses, inequality, discrimination? By bringing these issues to public attention, it sparks debates, mobilizes public opinion, and paves the way for social change. Investigative reports on topics like police brutality, environmental damages, and healthcare disparities have led to policy reforms and awareness campaigns. So while we do the other side of corruption, let us also look at the social injustice issues that are all over the place.
Education is the bedrock for the development of every society. What premium does the Nigerian government place on education? How much is budgeted for? How well are these funds utilized? What quality of teachers, students, and graduates are learning institutions churning out? For answers, join us on Leaves and Worms, an expository and incisive program showing every week on AD4 TV radio and supported by Wale Soyinka Center for Journalism, sponsored by MacArthur Foundation. Don't miss it.
It's all about evidence-based reporting. It's a way of redressing injustice, conveying human suffering, uncovering topics that are hidden either intentionally or unintentionally behind a mass of facts. It is not very common because of all of the efforts and time that goes into doing it. So a lot of people shy away from it because unlike other reports that you just do in 5-6 paragraphs and you are done, investigative journalism requires a lot more time. What more makes the story investigative? What are the elements, in it? So you see that we have that it requires in-depth research. It is systematic. It follows a process. It's not something that you just do haphazardly. You must start from a point, and that point is when you have either the story idea or the scoop, and then you begin to research and follow a sequence until you get to the point where you get the information the story is trying to bring out. So it's not something that you just do haphazardly and you go away, you just go away. You must follow that process to get a good story. It requires rigorous interviews and fact checks. You have to interview a lot of sources to do, your stories. And then sometimes, even when you interview sources and they give you information or documents, you still need to fact check to be sure that what they have told you is correct.
Investigative stories are the main tool by which the press exposes rot and mismanagement in government. Investigative journalism is a sure method of holding the powerful accountable. Therefore, I'm making my suggestions that media houses, newspaper, print, online should invest in training, empowering and equipping and funding the work and rewarding their reporters for conducting investigations into important disturbing issues. These reporters must be given ample time and support to develop well-researched and presented investigative stories. And I'm emphasizing that editors should also publish these big stories and not chicken out on doing so. There are sometimes that reporters will go the extra mile to get these stories, and some considerations, political and all of that. And maybe the issue of corruption also raises its head. Yes, as mentioned earlier. So media houses should have in-house reward system to encourage initiative and professionalism among editorial staff.
That as a reporter, you want to handle everything on your own. And you really want to be doing this. Whatever you want to take, you snap. You come back to your office, you pass into your laptop, you sit down, you write your script, you edit. After editing, after scripting, you send it to the editor wherever it is. He edits, he send back to you. Do your voice, if there's a need for the voice, and if it's just speak over, you did that. Plus the visuals you recorded on your phone. You pass everything to your system. You want to package. You package on the spot. You can even use that tablet to edit there. But because the laziness in most of us, it was abandoned. You say, how will I be a cameraman? I will be the driver. I will be a reporter. How can I do this? And you are the editor. How much are they paying me? So at the end of the day,
It's true now.
they drop it off. But that is where the profession is moving to.
Yeah. As journalists, we have been empowered by the Constitution to actually play the role of the watchdog. The world over, one of the functions of the media is to serve as a watchdog of the society. In Nigeria, Section 22 of the Constitution states, the press, radio, television, and other agencies of mass media shall at all times be free to uphold the fundamental objectives contained in this chapter, that's chapter 2 of the Constitution, and uphold the responsibility and accountability of the government to the people. Data journalism facilitates a more stringent yet interactive discharge of that obligation.
In her closing remarks, the MD of AD4 TV Radio, Ms. Anams Olchi, thanked the resource persons for their support towards the success of the training and enjoined the participants to make the best use of the knowledge acquired in the training. We really want to thank everyone for your time, for sitting all through. We know how it works in the media industry. It's either you're in newsroom editing something or somebody is sending you something to peruse and all of that. But I see everybody here was very attentive, and we do not take that for granted. And we actually look forward to working with you people after this training. But before I let us go, we cannot not just appreciate our resource persons. I think without them, we won't learn anything. We won't even be here, actually. So let's please appreciate them. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening. The participants, on their part, who were issued certificates of attendance at the end of the training, expressed gratitude to your organizers and funders of the training for providing such an opportunity for them, as it has equipped them with the necessary skills to perform their duties as it affects investigative journalism.
The most important thing for a person who really wants to make impact into society is that learning and enrichment of knowledge is a continuous thing. So journalists need to reassess themselves, learn new things, refresh their knowledge base, so as to be able to make better impact in the discharge of their professional responsibilities. Since there are new ideas, new ways of looking at things, and new focus, new way of working out strategies and tactics of getting the job done in terms of investigative reporting.
Earlier in the hall, I said something about investigative journalism being a new niche in Nigeria. Despite that, quite a number of freelance reporters have engaged in this. I'm liking the fact that AD for TV, radio are bringing the regular media to train them. Not because they do not know that they need to do this, but I mean, with citizen journalism now taking over the whole space, media houses who want to get ahead, who want to remain relevant, have to get into this niche. And I'm very happy to say that this is a huge opportunity for those of us who participated to learn, to engage, to understand, to network, and to learn of what makes investigative journalism different from regular reporting.
The training itself is something that journalists need, because if you look at the way journalism is practiced here, there isn't much fund. Journalists are not being encouraged, because if you look at journalism itself, is about investigation. But most media houses are not promoting that. Most people are just, they do the normal reportage. He said this, he said that, and that is not journalism. And as agenda setters, it is expected of us to dig more into issues on ground. So as I was coming here, I know that from judging from the invites I know that I'm going to learn a lot. And here, from what the resource people have talked about, I have gained a lot.
Attending this workshop at least gave me more insight of what there were questions that I had before when it comes to investigative journalism, but now I think most of the questions have been answered, so it has been impactful. The fact where you need to, at all costs, protect your sources, also the fact where you need to make sure that your facts are accurate, that factual, you don't just conclude or say, okay, this is the final thing. At least you have to go in depth, be systematic about it, and it will make good your reputation.
Some of the issues in Nigeria, or some of the cases you hear about, fraudulent cases, have been brought about by this investigative journalism, and because of those cases, people are now conscious, and they know that people are watching them in anything they do. So it's really helping, and I believe that if that area is exploited more like other countries, example the US, we will have more sincere politicians, we will have more sincere people handling offices whereby it has to do with finance, not just finance, also man management and how humans are treated.
I derive a lot of benefit from today's session, in the sense that by way of being introduced to a larger vista of knowledge on the fundamentals of investigative journalism. This is something that people tend to think they know so much about, but having listened to so many seasoned speakers and experts in this field of IJ, I've discovered that I have quite a lot to learn from the field itself. So I can say that today's session was quite educative. It was informative. It was even entertaining too, because there were lots of stories attached to the whole session that were edifying and mind lifting. So and I've been spurred. My mind has been spurred, to become a deeper and a better investigative journalist. So going forward, I intend to practice everything I've learned today and make sure that I improve on my practice. So basically, I've learned a lot today, and I'm so proud of it. Yes, judiciary has been doing its best. But sometimes it is up to the prosecutors to bring up watertight evidence against offenders. You understand? It's not about dragging people to courts or media trials. It's about the prosecutors bringing watertight investigation, bringing solid evidence to nail these offenders. That is the only way these things can be fruitful. Because most times if someone who is prosecuting is unable to produce evidence to nail the accused, there's no headway. So fundamentally, the prosecutors and everybody who is behind the law enforcement side of the divide should come up with watertight evidence to nail these people. When it is done this way, there'll be no room for any criminal or accused person to escape justice. So the court cannot do beyond its power. The court only has the power to convict. But people who are prosecuting should get watertight evidence and enough proof that whoever is brought before the court is guilty of whatever they're charged of. Yes.
As a reporter, and you want to achieve and you want to prosper in this profession, you must be at the top of the action. You must be the one telling the story. You must be the one dictating the shot. And for you to tell the story, you must know the story you want to write about. Not that because they just said they have arrested some criminals, therefore go and investigate. You need to do your own research. They've given you guidelines, fine. After getting the guidelines, you need to do your own underground research for you to get the story. Because you get the story, it may be against what you are saying. It may not be true. And when you are getting your story, you need to be very, very articulate in the story you are writing or whatever you are voicing for people to hear, because it's like an egg. If you are doing the wrong thing and it goes on here, it has gone forever. And anybody can say, okay, what you've done is wrong. And they can sue your organization. The moment your organization is sued, that's a big money if your organization lost the case at the court.
Nigerian journalists are using the digital space to carry out their reports. Yes, they may not be using it optimally, which is the essence of trainings such as this. The internet, as I said in my lecture, presents a lot of opportunities. It makes the job easier because through the internet, the journalist is able to transmit information, get information, carry out research, even collaborate with journalists in other jurisdictions to be able to, to get their job done. But also the internet is also a mixed grill. It comes with a lot of challenges. There is a lot of misinformation and disinformation, popularly called fake news, and and so these are the waters that journalists need to navigate.
If you look at Africa in generally, Nigerian media is the most robust on the continent. The challenges are always there, legal constraints. We always have that, ownership structure. And two, we're a society that hides a lot of things. To get information in Nigeria is not easy. They can't continue to blame the press. Without a conducive environment, the media cannot perform magic. The media of a country is the product of that society. Nigerian press is not free enough. And we have to remove all the inhibitions. Exclusive stories are not served a la carte. And they are not stories you pick on the shelf. But I like this refrain. They say the refrain is that you break the wall of Jericho. So we must learn to break the barriers.
For sure, we can do more as journalists. There's always much more work to do in terms of exposing corruption, filth, and mismanagement. There's never enough work. You have to keep on trying. But I think we are making a lot of impact. The media as a watchdog has kept quite a lot of people on their toes, because you know that there's a possibility of you being reported, your story coming out. And then the citizen journalism has not helped in terms of social media, Facebook. You can never tell where a document is going to emanate from to show that there's been mismanagement. And if you look at some of the agencies that were created by government, like ICPC, EFCC, the media played a major role because of every time media is reporting corruption, condemning corruption through reports, through editorials, through investigative stories on different platforms. So government saw the need to establish anti-corruption agencies, and they've done quite a bit. We've had governors jailed, we've had a presidential pardon, we've had people jailed, the ICPC directors, we even have now lecturers being jailed for sex for grades. So that is the work of ICPC, and those agencies are a creation of years of reporting and condemning corruption and mismanagement.
I wish we could do more, because right now it's not an area that is that popular because of the challenges, financial, lack of proper funding, lack of cooperation from our government, functionaries, agencies. They see anybody doing investigative journalism as one out to witch hunt them, to track them down, and there's this suspicion, but we need investigative journalism in Nigeria. Some organizations are doing well, like the Premium Times, like I mentioned, and a few others, and also your organization now that is trying to popularize investigative journalism and ensure that people are accountable when they are in public office, and that ills of society are exposed and dealt with.
A lot of people who practice journalism seem to look for the easy way out, and therefore compromise not just the ethics of the profession, but also throw themselves into the mud along with it. And that's one thing we need to guard against. And building the minds of the younger people, and also those who have been there for forever, to refine the processes, the tactics they use, especially in today's digital environment. So you need to continue to refine the knowledge you have, learn, unlearn, and relearn. That is crucial, especially to investigative journalism. It needs us now not just to work hard, but to work smart. Working hard is not good enough anymore. It's working smart.
D4 TV Radio, we focus on education with emphasis on research and innovation, science and technology, women and girl-child education, children, health, youth and sports, socio-political and economic reforms, security, environment, entrepreneurship, and entertainment. We'll give you information at your fingertips. Learn on the go. Follow AD4 TV Radio on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. AD4 TV Radio, reliable and credible.
We